Hey, Geek Variants, welcome into another exciting episode of all the things that we do, starring the Batman Review. I am Calendar Man's Jealousy running as host. Of course, we have the Batson fan club president, Tony.
I hate to say it, I'm a fan of his now, but oh Lord.
And then down below us, we have the Riddler's henchman, Vengeance.
Which
But before
we need to talk about that too. I'm gonna tell y'all what that last little word, that whole scene at the end meant.
What a movie, what a movie, what a movie. But before we
Okay,
break down everything, be sure to like and subscribe for more
yeah,
amazing Geek Variants content. We appreciate everything you guys can do for us. It helps us up in the queue, helps get new people to talk to us,
I
and leave
mashed
your
the
thoughts
button.
below in the comments. We
I
appreciate
mashed
it.
the button that time.
Definitely necessary. Tony's finally going to hit that button. But,
I did. I mashed it.
as the master of the Batman deep dive, who's just too excited to get on into the video, come on, man.
No, man,
Hit
I
us
want to hear
with the
yo. I want to
Batman
hear you.
review.
I want to hear yours because look, we already know I went in with minimal expectations. We know this. I can now say, and I was wrong. As few times as I am wrong, I was 100% wrong about Patterson. I was. I can't lie. He did his thing. I'm,
What are you
I'm,
pointing at me for? What are you pointing?
I
You're
put
pointing at Batman.
Batman.
You
See,
mean?
Batman.
do I have to point? Because it's
No.
all.
All right. So I'll start off. Look, Batman did what it needed to do to set up a brand new storyline. So like that again, we are good with Batman trilogies. We've had plenty of them and so like that. Batman movies and so like that. We've had a good trilogy with the Batman Begins through the Dark Knight saga and so like that. It was good for what it was. We appreciate it so like that. But here is setting the stage for something new, something different so like that. Something that does not focus on the Joker. Gladly to see we can actually start to explore some of Batman's other rogues and stuff like that, and
Who are
see
just as
what
good.
is really going to make this whole franchise stand out. Because this is going to be another trilogy. Like there is
Mm-hmm.
no reason why they can't make this another trilogy, or take it even further. Now,
Mm-hmm.
the entire tone of the movie, you had that dark feel to the entire movie, and the story kept me grounded the entire time throughout the entire movie. Grounded storyline. I really love the fact that there was nothing that made Batman larger than life and stuff like that. It wasn't like these other movies. So I see, like, you expect that from a Superman movie. That's what Superman is. So that Batman, year two, standing his ground, doing what needs to be done, and going throughout the show, dealing with everything, the mistakes and stuff that were made throughout the story. Not the story writing, but the mistakes that Batman had to deal with. So that his own mistakes and stuff like that, or his assumptions and stuff like that, everything that was going on, like all of it just made a really cohesive story. And the fact that this Batman really stood out as the best one for me. Like, this was the Batman, and that's the reason why it's called The Batman. Like, this is the best Batman movie that has been created, and I'm gonna stand by that.
Tony, you got something to say before you just pop
I'm
off?
trying to.
You no, just
I'm
let
trying
it
to.
out, dude. You're gonna
I'm
jump in
trying
the
to hold
middle
it.
when
Come
I
on.
say anything. Just let it out. Come on,
Let
man.
me explain. This, and no disrespect to any Batman film except for Clooney and Kilmer, because I hate y'all with a passion. No disrespect to the other Batman live action movies, but in my humble opinion, this is the best live action Batman to date. And I say that, yes, I know The Dark Knight had Heath Ledger, the greatest portrayal of a comic book villain ever. But that's all that movie was Heath Ledger. If we look at the Batman, and I had to explain this to my nephews because, of course, they trying to understand why Batman out here catching hands. I'm like, you understand? This is 26-year-old Batman. This isn't 34-year-old Batman. This isn't 40-year-old Batman. This is 26-year-old Batman, fresh back on the streets, and he's supposed to catch hands because he's still a man. So until he get his fighting style mastered, now he does have those fighting styles mastered individually, but you also have to master them as one fighting style, which he has not done yet. And you can tell by looking at the movie, he is still young. Like when he, jumped off the building, he looked down. You saw the fear in his eyes because he was scared of that height for a minute. He's like, oh, wait a minute. Then he took off his little glider suit and the parachute came off. What happened? He let that parachute out a little bit too late and he caught that bridge and he caused some damage from that. Now, we agree on that. It's just so much about this movie that I like. Let's talk about the Riddler. This is the villain that we wanted besides Joker, and that's the Riddler. And I'm not talking about the Riddler character himself. I'm talking about the adaptation of this particular character. This right here, I don't care about the Jim Carrey version. I hate that version. That was too goofy. The Riddler showed his intelligence and just how mean. I don't know if you have seen the movie The Collector. That is what this Riddler, he was like the Collector and the Zodiac Killer rolled into one. He was smarter than everybody out there. And in some instances, he was smarter than Batman because he was like, Batman was like, what's going on here? And this is what we needed. Yes, again, Heath Ledger, great. We said this ahead of time. What do we want from this movie? We want a great villain that's not named Joker. We got a great villain not named Joker. And I can throw him in the conversation of who's the best live action Batman villain, Heath Ledger as a Joker or the Riddler. I can easily put them next to each other. Now I will still go with Heath Ledger just because, but the conversation is there now because you didn't have that conversation at first. Let's talk about the tone. Oh my God, the noir tone of this movie kept me in my seat. I had to go to the bathroom once he met the Penguin at the Augsburg Lounge when Catwoman walked in, when Kravitz walked in. I had to go to the bathroom there and I didn't leave because I was so drawn into this movie. I will say it did start a little slow for me, but I expect that because it was an introductory to the movie. I'm glad they didn't show Martha and Thomas Wayne getting killed. They just sent it to it. I'm glad they didn't do that. Let's get back to the villains. I would say Riddler stole the show, but I want to give a special shout out to Colin Farrell and that Penguin. That interpretation is what Penguin is. I love that. Dan DeVito, you keep it. Give me this Colin Farrell. The Catwoman from Zoe. I loved it. I didn't like that they, start off a little too frisky with each other at first. They had to build up to that, but I understand he threw it into the movie. But I still like Michelle Pfeiffer's overall portrayal better. But for an introductory character, Zoe nailed this part. She nailed it. Outfit, basic. I love it. Brent, talk because I will go on for 3 hours. I'm telling you. Say something and then I'll come back in.
Basically, by the time I get rolling, you'll just jump on in and just say what
oh
you
my
want to
God,
say.
this movie was so good.
Look, I'm going to talk about something we haven't actually surprisingly discussed yet. I absolutely adore Gary Oldman as Detective Gordon. I think this was a better adaptation. I really, really do. This was young Detective Gordon.
Detective Gordon is the key word.
He was dealing with so many times where he had to literally look at Batman and be like, am I really ready to risk my career for this man? And sure, we got a little bit of the whole vanishing Batman humor, which, I mean, come on, that's kind of like his shtick. It's like, damn it, he's gone again. Just one of those, another nods to what's going on, but at the same time, he had fantastic chemistry with Pattinson all the way throughout. They played off each other so damn well. It was really, really nice to see. You already touched on Colin Farrell. That, I needed a cigar, and then I would have had perfection. But again, Colin Farrell has come out and said several times over, he's pushed so hard to have that cigar moment. But they said, no, it's not going to be happening. So I'm a little...
They'll do it when he becomes boss. He's not. He's still an underling.
Passage.
Yeah, he has to pass underling right now. Which next the HBO spinoff should make. That's where he'll become boss. Which I'm hyped for now.
It's and then also another thing I was really, really hyped about. While they're digging through the files and they found that super top secret file. Right, all up top. Hush.
Yes,
Hush. I'm like,
that was a good shout
you
out,
really
especially when they
you
said,
gonna tease me with that? You
mm-hmm,
really gonna do that?
mm-hmm.
Like, I will say that ending scene in the asylum really just.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that, but it was needed. It was needed.
Yeah.
It was
So
needed.
look, I'll take it.
Someone else jump in before I got like 2 gripes with the film, and
I got multiple gripes with the film.
Oh
But,
yeah, there's always gonna be gripes. Like the film isn't perfect, but like it's the best to date.
it's my gripes because I'm a Batman fan.
You know who you are. My
And
gripes
it's
because I like
you have
movie,
gripes with everything.
I do.
I look at storylines for that. So look, if we take it back, all right, let's talk about Alfred. Let's start that. All right.
That's one of my gripes.
What did y'all think about Alfred? That's what I want to know. So Tony, what is your gripe with Alfred?
But it's kind of combo gripe with Alfred and Bruce.
Okay.
I didn't like how they interacted with each other at first, because all throughout Batman / Bruce Wayne's career, Alfred has been his number one. Alfred has been his father figure. That has been what Alfred is. And early on in the film, up until the scene in the hospital, you got a feeling that Bruce didn't look at him like that. He looked at him as an assistant, which I didn't like, because it's just what all the other stories, all the books, Alfred is dad. And that was one of the main things about the Nightfall storyline. It didn't really hit Bruce home until he saw Alfred get injured. And that's when he lost his composure, because Alfred is his guy. It's like he always says, don't mess with my family. And he considers the Robins, Alfred, and Batgirl all his family. You don't mess with them. That's when he kind of loses his cool. So that's the one gripe I have with that. And I'm glad they kind of changed it when they got to the hospital and Bruce was sitting there and said, I don't want to lose the person, any more people that I love. And I was like, okay, now we good. But I didn't like how it was going at first. But
right.
that's just me.
I think that what they were going for, and again, my speculation, so that I think that it was an internal struggle that Bruce was having, being the Batman, so that like all this stuff. He's been doing this for 2 years now, and it's taking a toll on him. So he said like sometimes he has to force himself to remember what happened and stuff like that. He's dived so deep into the bat and stuff like that I don't think that he was Bruce anymore. So that like again he had to kind of pull himself back to that when he came out and so that of the suit, and so that he had to pull himself back with his memories and stuff that reminded him of family. So when him and Alfred are having their exchange and they're going back and forth, I think that he was just trying to, I guess, keep the peace, but he didn't want to dive into that. And I think that they could have done a little bit more with the Carmine Falcone angle and the Maroni and stuff like that. Like if maybe that was known a little bit more, like a little bit sooner in the story.
You're talking about the thief.
Yeah, like then you could have used that as the reason why he had to disconnect a little bit more.
Well, they might cover that in the Penguin offshoot. That might
they might cover it. So again, like it's not a make or break and stuff like that. But I just want to kind of see where it's going to go. And with the way Reeves has done this to really set this up and stuff like that, I think that he's got everything planned, and there's already been deleted scenes, so that is been notified, so that we just got to wait to see what he has for Penguin going forward, as well as the Arkham. It's supposed to be an Arkham spinoff as well. So we're going to have a Penguin spinoff and an Arkham spinoff, which again, with that, I want to see how they're going to take that, because Penguin can continue to run the underworld with that, and we can get introduced to a couple other characters. And then Arkham, we can see a lot of other villains and stuff like that can make their transition to the big screen.
I want to say that with this Penguin series coming on, I want to see how they address the Black Mask situation, because he was a major player after the Falcons. He took over for a while. So I want to see if they actually use that character at all, or will he come in afterwards and snatch everything away? Or maybe we'll just use. Maybe they'll just use him for a sequel or something. Who knows?
What if we have a Penguin versus Black Mask in the series? Like they're vying for control.
That would be great, but Black Mask. Yeah, I'm saying that dude is serious.
Yeah, we know. Like that. But it gives a little something to play off of. If you want to do like
which they should.
If it's a full television series or if it's like a set series, like it's 6 or 7 episodes, then you could essentially do that. And then Black Mask is, running the show. And this is what's going on underneath the streets while Batman's dealing with something else. So they keep it low key. Like, we don't want cops involved. We got to handle this amongst ourselves so that then you can literally keep it under the radar. Batman not make an appearance and stuff until you can have him show up in like the last episode or whatever and arrest Penguin or something. And then Black Mask now has it, all to himself. And he's one of the bigger villains. So you got things that you can do.
Can I put a theory out?
What's up?
Y'all remember the guy opening fight scene with Batman and the clown face posse? That's what I call him. And you had the one guy with half a face.
He was trying to earn his other half.
But you know who that is, right? If you've watched Titans, you know who that is. That's Tim Drake. That's Tim Drake. I'm saying they might skip Dick and put Tim straight in, because you see how, if you watched it, you see he actually helped Batman. And he was kind of hesitant on doing everything once he saw the bat. So I'm like, I hope they pay that off somehow and just don't forget about that one scene, because then you just connected the Batman and Titans, considering Titans is not a part of the DCEU or the DC universe at all. It's an alternate reality also. What if they're in the same reality?
So if Titans is the same reality and you got, Dick Grayson running around like fuck Batman.
Yeah.
So how does that work though? Because
I'm not a writer. That's
I say like you got a little bit of work cut out for you. I won't say I won't say that it's difficult, but you can make it work. You got a Dick Grayson that's already older in season and is like, yo, fuck Batman. I'm not dealing with his shit no more. But we got a young freaking Batman, so at that, then possibly what I see happening is, of course, them bringing it forward. So now Robert Pattinson's Batman could be in, year 7 or something like that. Or, the Batman history better than I do. Dick Grayson could have already come and gone and stuff.
Yep, and already been Nightwing and been gone.
And Nightwing, because they mentioned Bloodhaven already. That's where Catwoman.
Yeah, he might
going head off. So he might be running around in Bloodhaven right now, and then Tim Drake. So it can be done.
We think if this is Batman year 2, then he could possibly have a Robin already that's running around somewhere.
Yeah, we look. We can,
but that wasn't addressed. So he could possibly have a Robin.
There's a lot of stuff to break down through this, but as far as the Penguin spinoff series, as long as we get a Victor Zsasz at some point in time, I don't care who he's working for.
He has to be there. He has to be there. He has to be there. He has to work for Black Mask. I need him to work for Black Mask, because Black Mask is the only one that really told him just to lose his mind. He was already crazy on his own, but when he had purpose, hey, go kill them. Okay.
If the way that they got the Riddler in this and how the Riddler was running,
Zsasz might be too much.
Exactly. Like they had to get this PG-13 rating and stuff like that. So it's like bringing Zsasz in, like they may be able to show him, allude to him with that, but I don't think they're gonna be able to let him off the chain.
If you just see a guy standing in the back with a knife and a whole bunch of slashes on his body, that might be all you can get. I'm gonna leave you here with a friend of mine. He come walking out the shadows. That might be it.
Yeah, I'd be happy. Like you can cut the black right there and like, okay, we know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, we know it's about to be some serious.
I'm with it.
Will, have you stated your gripes already pertaining to this movie?
So my exact gripes and stuff will come in words. All right. So something else I like about before I get to my gripes about that. One of my things that I was kind of up in the air about with that was how it was with the Catwoman and how the thing transpired with her. I'm not really sure where to place her in terms of like what's going to be her purpose going forward. Is she just going to remain a love interest and stuff like that, or would she eventually come back? Like I have no idea what's going to go on with her. So that's
confusing too.
It's a little confusing. It's a little out there, and so I'm just kind of okay, we don't have a strict setup. Like you can literally write her off now, and she not be a factor. Which I would appreciate a little bit. It'll let Batman kind of focus more on things because, again, like we said before, the romance was a little forced and so that. But I do like that it wasn't overly sexual in terms of like, oh, we got to have a relationship. Like,
I would have. I'm gonna say I think it was pushed too much. I would have rather it been a look but don't touch type thing. Like you can feel the chemistry, you can feel the tension between them, but nothing really happens. I don't think this should have been romantic.
The kiss happen.
I think it was just too early for all of that to happen. You could have brought her back in the third movie, and it had that payoff there. But that's just me because, of course, comics. But again, I think it was just that's one thing. It was just too early.
It was too forced because Batman and those binoculars. We're just not going to talk about what he was doing there. Like no one wants to mention that Batman was like trying to.
Oh, he was
get a little peep show. Like
he was stalker.
He was not looking for some evidence. He was looking for some booty and.
Well, you look at Batman stuff like that. I mean, we know that he was looking for evidence initially, and so that he's trying to figure stuff out. Stuff like that is more or less like, well, since I'm here, and let me see what's going on with her. Like, it fit within his wheelhouse for what he's doing, the surveillance that he's doing to do it. Granted, it's still wrong. You shouldn't go peeping in on people. Let me just go ahead and put that out there. But they had to give you so with movie wise, they're going to show you some skin, especially with Catwoman and stuff like that. They're going to show some skin. They're going to do something. You see it.
I thought the dresses were enough to warrant that, but also the dresses hadn't officially gone to what they were until after that scene.
Yeah, they're gonna give you freaking a little bit more because they have to appeal to not only the crowd and stuff like that, but also to the higher ups and the execs and stuff and what they want. So
I will say I did like her outfit. I did like her outfit.
I like that her outfit was basically a simple, leather suit and stuff like that type deal going on with that with the mask and stuff like that. Again, it was simple. She likes cats. She got little ears like that. It wasn't like the full mask setup that matches with that. So now what they could do is she does come back, she could have a whole outfit together because she could take inspiration from Batman. She sees Batman's got a look. Maybe she can put together a little bit more of a look for herself and stuff like that and be a little bit more, I guess, comic accurate, I guess, if you want to put it. But again, I like the way that she was kitted out. I love the fact that the nails were great and stuff like that.
They were hers.
She had the walk down of Catwoman. Every character's had a hard time getting the walk down precisely. But if you watch any of the Arkham games or any of the actually good Catwoman characters, they have a walk about them. And
Michelle Pfeiffer.
This was it. This was it.
Eartha Kitt. Julie Newmar.
And freaking her and Newmar. Freaking, yeah, I could say Newmar.
Those three had the best walk.
Mm-hmm.
Even Meriwether was okay, but those three had the best walk. I need Halle Berry to pay attention because this is what it should have been. I'm just saying.
Look, video game universes or anything pertaining to comics, Halle Berry needs to stay away from.
Agreed.
Two different universes.
Let's not go on a tangent. Let's not go on a tangent because that's
you get him started. Freaking,
it won't end well because that X-Men movie was trash. I tell you.
All right,
pull it in.
All right, so let's bring it back around and stuff like that we've seen with all the setup for Batman with him doing his detective skills. What do y'all think about how his detective skills were displayed throughout the movie?
This is probably the best Batman detective film we've seen to date. I feel like Reeves paid a lot of attention to how fans reacted to the Arkham video game series and how people were so hyped. Like, this is the Batman we want. We want detective, grungy Batman who's going to have to dig for all these clues, go through all the utility belt stuff, through all of his training in order for all of these villains. This is what we want. This is what we've asked for a long time. And they paid attention to the Riddler that was shown in that universe and like, we can make him darker and people will still be 100% on board with this. And they did that. They made him less campy, obviously, because there's no green suit. There's no riddle me this, Batman. But I mean, also at the same time, he is still following his tried and true formula of, all right, this is an intellectual battle. Show me what you got.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna take a shot at Brent. It's the second best detective version of Batman. We know what the first one is because it's the best Batman movie of all time. It's Mask of the Phantasm. Let's not get beside ourselves. Let's not forget that.
Best
This right
live
here.
action.
Best
Okay,
live
best.
action.
I said, but I just said movie. I didn't say nothing else. I said movie.
We know.
Mask of the Phantasm. Now I will shut up. I will say that this is on par with Long Halloween, which it kind of reminds me of.
It's when the movie started, October 31st. I was like,
Right. So it's
Counterman
kind of
sitting
like,
somewhere like, hey, yo, what is this? This is my shtick.
so I'm kind of like, it reminded me of Long Halloween. Like I can get behind it. And again, we got to go to year 2 Batman, where he wasn't as physical as later on in his career because he wasn't at that level. He had to be smarter than everybody else. Now, with that being said, year 2 in the comic books is totally different than year 2 in the movies, which I'm kind of torn between which I like better because year 2, Batman got drugged. Y'all think Deathstroke would drag Batman? The Reaper drugged Batman to the point where Batman wanted to shoot him. That's how much he got drugged by this dude. But we're not going to talk about that. That's another show. This right here is, again, what Brent said, is the Batman that we wanted. We've wanted this for a while, not taking anything away from Christian Bale, but he's not the detective that Pattinson is. Not taking anything away from Ben Affleck, who I still think is one of the best Batman out there, but he's not on the detective level as this year 2 version of Batman. And I appreciate them for doing that. I did like the action scenes. That's one of my issues, but we can talk about that. But you know what I'm thinking about.
minutes
in, we need to jump into the gripes at some point before we just.
All right, well, that's it.
We definitely jumping into it. So that, all right, so
okay,
so let's get with the fighting.
All right, the fighting was fine. I had a problem with the Batsuit taking all that damage and not showing any wear and tear because he took multiple up close gunshots.
That shotgun blast.
That shotgun blast should have put a hole in it. Even with the best Kevlar, at that range, that double barrel, that should have put a hole in his chest. He should have been done with that. That's the problem I had with the suit. It was taking entirely too much damage at that early of his career. I can see Christian Bale maybe taking that damage. I can definitely see Ben Affleck's Batsuit taking that damage, but I cannot see year 2 Batman taking that damage when he's wearing combat boots. Can't do it. That's the gripe I had with that.
There should have been more wear and tear on the suit and stuff like that.
It's like in the Batman game.
I'll be honest, I expected to see, and this is what I noticed. Like I was watching this stuff all the way through to the end, even when he cut the rope and fell and stuff like that. Like I was looking at like, okay, there should be parts that are like when he comes up and he's covered in the dirt on the rooftops or that. Like we should see. I want to see a torn freaking cape. I want to see freaking markings and freaking stuff blown away and stuff like that. Like I want to see him. Like I want to see chunk of armor hanging off so that like he took damage. He took a lot of hits and stuff like that. We need to see that wear and tear. So hopefully going forward, they'll take that under critique and stuff like that. It's like, okay, let's make sure there's a little bit more wear and tear on the bat suit so that as he goes through. It's nice because this took place over a week. All this took place over a week. And with everything taking place with that, like how many times or how much gear does he have to constantly, swap it? Like every time he goes back to Batcave, yeah, he can swap out the whole suit, whatever. He's got the money to do that. It's fine. But with the way that this Batman was going and the suit was made and so like that, yeah, you expect to see some damage. He's going to want to wear those broken boots all the time.
Right.
As us military, like you got your good pair of boots that you like. We're going for a hump. I'm going to wear the ones that are broken and ready to go. I'm not wearing the ones I'm going to go stand out there in formation in for a ceremony so I look nice and neat. It's like you want to wear the stuff that has that comfort built into it. So combat definitely. I had a question for that if anybody had a gripe with this or not. His voice. Going from Bruce Wayne to Batman. Did anyone have a gripe?
Not as bad as I thought I was going to.
I will say that his Batman voice was better than his Bruce Wayne voice. That's just me.
He was not a good Bruce Wayne.
No, he was a good Bruce Wayne.
It's a personal opinion. It's not up for actual interpretation.
Everything is up
for
everything is up.
Somebody will tell you.
I'm right. I'm right. You're wrong. You forget the conversation we had about this. Again, early 26-year-old antisocial Bruce Wayne. That was exactly how he is. I have no problem with how that Bruce Wayne acted. That's exactly how he is. He wasn't the playboy He wasn't the Tony Stark that you would think he would be. This is a 26-year-old. Only thing he's thinking about is fighting crime. He's not thinking about the women. He's not thinking about the cars. He's not thinking about none of that. But going out here and fighting criminals. I had no problem with how they did that. That is the perfect young Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. All right.
But
something else.
I had just a little minor gripe. Changing Martha's maiden name to Arkham. I didn't like that. Her last name is Kane. It's always going to be Martha Kane. It's not going to be Martha Arkham. She ain't crazy. I'm not going for all that. That's all that's I don't care.
That was my next thing. I was like, why? What did you think about the Wayne and the Arkham cross?
It's like when they do quarter hours, because they're going to do quarter hours in 2 or 3. I hope it's in 3 because that's a bigger payoff. Because you can have them in 2, showing behind the scenes, then pay them off in 3. You had the Waynes, the Arkhams, and the Cobblepotts. You had your 3 big families. So I don't know why you just decided to make her an Arkham. We didn't need that. Keep her as Kane. You still have the Waynes there. So I was kind of like, okay. Alternate universe. I had to keep saying that. Okay, I can get that. And a lot of other people that were sitting around me like, her name is Kane. What is going on? So it was like the Batman fans were like, okay, we'll let this slide just because. But I'm not a big fan of that one.
Will, anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to figure out what the reporters, what was the reporter? Y'all catch the reporter's name in the movie, who was doing everything against. So,
that's the other thing. That was Elliot. He wasn't a reporter. He was a doctor. He was a surgeon. That's the other switch they should have.
That's the other thing I was trying to get at, because I'm like, okay, that wasn't his name, but the last name was the same. But the first,
I like the payoff, especially when it said Hush. But you can't do that storyline now because you just changed the backstory
of the character.
Of the characters.
Unless that's a brother that we don't know or some shit.
Tommy Elliott. You
I
had
don't know
Hush.
I don't know what the first name they gave the reporter in there. Was he named Tommy? So that's what we got to.
No, the son is Tommy. The son is Tommy. And him and Bruce were best friends growing up. Right. And then Tommy tried to kill his parents because he wanted their money. Bruce's dad saved the mother's life, and that made Tommy mad. And then Bruce's parents died, and then he viewed Bruce as having a lifestyle he wanted, and that's how all that worked out. So it was like you just changed. You can't change her storyline. That's one of the best storylines out there. So
So do you think, even with everything that was done, do you think it's still a possibility they can pull it off if they tweak it in the right direction?
You can pull it off if you figure a way to say he had that much money, because the Waynes and the Elliots hung in the same circle. Now the Waynes and a TV reporter are not gonna hang in the same circle. That money gap is big. So you would have to figure out the way to make them best friends. Maybe Bruce's dad didn't have nothing to do, and his parents did die, but he had to go to an orphanage too, and they ended up the same orphanage. I don't know. It's just you just killed that storyline for me.
Yeah, so we'll have to see how that transpires. Like, I'm unsure of that one. So another thing I want to talk about.
Ooh.
The Batmobile.
Hey, before you say anything, I love muscle cars. My first car was a 69 Mustang. I'm gonna like that car. Even though it just had a jet engine and it only went, 250?
Okay, the
second fastest Batmobile, though.
Look, the fact that the introduction of the vehicle was utterly fantastic. And I like that it wasn't overutilized throughout the whole movie. Like, it was just like a quick, yo, this is it. We're going to use it for this scene. And that thing was fire.
A tank. It was a tank. It was a tank. It took a lot of damage. Now that is what the Batmobile I expect out of. Like, I don't like, we talked about how his suit should have taken damage. The Batmobile should not take damage. That is literally the reason for him to have that. Speed and durability. That's it. And that thing ran through anything. It bounced off of 18 wheelers and took no damage. And it handled like a big oversized muscle car should handle. He had trouble hitting them curves. I can't make that, so I'm gonna go down this way and I'm gonna swing back for you. So, but I like them big muscle cars. I love them.
Yes.
Give me that all day long.
I just love the way it was screeching like a bat when he revved that thing up. I was just like, oh, it's about to go down.
Did anybody have a Knight Rider flashback when them lights came on? He was like,
yes,
I was like, okay,
yes. Oh,
Yup.
day. You know about that, Bert? Oh man,
he don't know about Knight Rider.
That's a timepiece movie.
Yeah,
It is because it don't hold up. But
all right, let's jump to it. I'm tired of waiting.
All right,
that last scene in Arkham.
All right, so that's my other gripe. That's my other gripe, though.
Like,
that's the other gripe. All right,
wait,
so
we gonna skip to Arkham and not the last scene of the when he beat the Riddler?
We got to talk about the Riddler. The Riddler.
Yeah, you have to talk about that first.
The Riddler's henchman. All right, so
it took 35 minutes to get to this point.
Break that down.
So
hey,
we already said it's gonna be long. Just shut up and drink, and keep moving.
All right, Tony, go ahead.
All right, so we remember the last word from the henchman when he looked up was vengeance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we know Batman, when they asked him, well, who are you? And what did he say? I am vengeance. Now, if you know Batman, when they ask him now and he says, I am Batman, he also says, I am justice. That moment showed him that I can't be vengeance. Because people that are going to follow me and try to be like me are only going to want vengeance. And that's not what I'm going for. I want justice. So now he has to change the way he approaches things and become the beacon for justice, which is what he did. If you watch the scene where when he went down to get the mayor and she was terrified of him and like, wait a minute, what? And the little boy was like, come on, I know you, you got me. That right there changed him from vengeance to justice, right there. Because after that, you see him walking through the flooded Coliseum with the kid and the road flare, and everybody was following him. That moment right there switched his whole dynamic, and I think it was played perfectly.
I mean, it also has the whole deep symbolism of it. Of Batman is leading the new wave of Gotham's hope. It's like it's literally water, so like there's deep symbolism there, and I was sitting on it, I'm like, okay, I get it. But also my gripe was Batman did not save the mayor. Batman did not solve the riddle. Batman almost gave in. Like, I know this is year 2 Batman, but he saved the day by not saving the day? Like, are we not going to address that? Like, without Catwoman, he's already in the water, dead, gone. Goodbye trilogy. Nice knowing you, Robert. We like Batman, but not really.
I'm glad you're talking about that because that's also another show of mine where I speak about one of the myths of Batman. Batman does not work better by himself. He does not. He works better with a team. Justice League, Bat Family, does not matter. Batman out there by himself will fail 90% of the time. Batman out there with help, you're not beating him. Think about the movies that we've seen Batman, Dark Knight Returns, Batman versus Superman. He didn't beat Superman on his own. He had help. Didn't he?
And you remember, he's never alone. He's always had
Alfred
never alone in his corner. He's always had Alfred. So Batman has never fought alone as far as I'm concerned. Everything that he's done, he's had some assistance in some way that was able to back him up and make sure that he was able to do the things that he was trying to do. So that just alluded to it even more.
Yeah, Batman has come out and said time and time again, I'm not anything but a symbol. That's all I want to be. I want to inspire people to do better. And that's what he was doing. So yeah, he can't be in everywhere. He can't even be every place at one time. He even said, you remember he said that in the movie, I can't be everywhere, everywhere, but I can be where I think I need to be. He's not Superman. Superman, Flash, they could be wherever they need to be like that. Batman can only get there as fast as that bike or that car can take him.
And he can only do as much as his bike can hold out. And that's one of the things we're showing. Like when somebody got hurt, his people got hurt. So at that, what did he need to do? He needed to do more because you're not finna hurt the people that he cared about. He's gonna go in. So that's why when he pulled that table to the side, I need to figure this out because somebody he cared about got hurt. Why he used that adrenaline to get himself going? Because somebody he cared about got
Catwoman was about to get murdered.
Yeah, and
she was about to get murdered.
And he went in and stuff like that. Like I said, he cared, and that's what freaking drives him. He cares. he cares more than most other people care. Even though he's all stoic and like, oh, this Batman, he don't care about nothing and stuff like that. No, Batman at his core cares for what he cares about most of that, and that's what he's going to do to protect everything in his power. It doesn't matter how he's going to figure out a way. And again, with him having his team on deck, again, this movie he's had Alfred, he had Commissioner Gordon, so he came in starting with a team and stuff like that. Yep. He really just came out there and just like, yo, I can't get this done. If Gordon didn't bring him in, if Gordon didn't bring him, show him the envelopes, like, hey, this says the Batman. Come check this out. How much was Batman going to know, or how much was he going to know too little, too late to do anything about it?
And think about near the end of the movie when the Gotham PD actually got behind him. Look how things flowed a lot easier for him. It wasn't just him. He had a lot of backup.
The humanity of Batman shown in this film was astonishing, considering in almost every single live action Batman film we've seen. Name a time where Batman was super, super humane towards everybody and everything. Like, basically throughout the film. He had the gushy moment with Alfred. He had that moment where he just kept staring at that kid like, one day I'm going to adopt you and raise you to fight crime.
Did you get that feeling too?
Like that. I got like, yo, you need to leave that kid alone. Stop staring at people like that.
The guy behind me was like,
dude in the room just.
The guy behind me in the movie was like, that's his. He's like, that's his Robin. He's like, I feel like I need to do Leo pose and say, that's his Robin.
Yeah, but
everybody started laughing when that scene came on. People were like, yep, they knew it. They're like, there's Robin.
For us to be raised on Conroy stoic Batman, and then Robert Pattinson, first movie, the everyday Batman, the friendly neighborhood Batman.
First of all,
was kind of
you were raised on Kevin Conroy.
Yeah, like,
you were raised on Kevin Conroy.
Well, yeah, you were raised on West. You were raised on Campy.
Well, I was raised on multiple Batmans. So
yeah, we had a lot of
in multiple images. Like I said, I can say I was raised off of Adams West Batman. I'll say I was raised off the comics Batman. I can say I was raised off Kevin Conroy's Batman. All of those appeared in my lifetime. All of them appeared when I was young. So all of that sits with me. So I take all of that going into this Batman, knowing that I can get any version of Batman and understand it better than a person who was kind of pigeonholed to, okay, this is what I know Batman to be. This is what Batman should be every single time. Like, no, that's not the case. And of course, if you've read any comic and you know the fact that there are multiple Earths, multiple versions of different characters and stuff like that, there should never be a pigeonhole to this is what Batman has to be. No, because Batman can be anything, and any character can be any different version that is necessary to tell a story.
I need to research that now, because all the alternate Earth Batmans that I know of are all the same. They all fight for justice. I gotta find the one.
There's a core mechanic.
Even Justice Lords, he still wanted to. He was still with Justice. Crime Syndicate.
All right.
He was basically there just to mess with Superman.
We'll have your deep dive in another special.
I'm thinking now.
Talk about this end scene. We've been pushing this off. No. You've had 40
take it like this. Look, if you drive into Atlanta, right? How many different ways can you take to get to Atlanta? So that
no one drives to Atlanta at night.
You can get to Atlanta multiple different ways. So that even if you're not from Atlanta,
you're not from Atlanta. Okay, they're not Atlanta.
Yeah. So there's different paths to everything, but there's all a core that characters share. It's a trait that drives that character and stuff like that. So even if the character's different versions, they can all take a different way to get to justice. But if justice is the core of that character, so like that, then that's what you're gonna get. Just you can't complain about how you get it. Like, it's coming one way or another. If you're hungry, you're gonna get food. I don't care if it's from this restaurant or this restaurant. You're gonna get what what is being given to you. So take it for what it is. Now, Brent, to get to this last part, this last scene, this is one of the
let us have this
that I have. This is one of the gripes that I have, and so like that. That last scene, the character, I like the way that it was done with the conversation with the Riddler and stuff like that. I like how it was that connection was made, stuff like that. It made sense with that. In all honesty, I wanted a different character, but I'm not complaining about how the character was done and what I did get. I would have
about everything. Okay.
But
carry on.
But could you have really done a different character and people know who that character is?
So this is what I'm getting at. So with that,
did we need to know who that character was?
I think it was done.
Yes.
Was anybody deep in a Riddler like this until this movie? Please. I'll wait for the Riddler fanboys to stand up. It's just you. Anybody else? No.
Oh, I know
Okay.
Riddler. Like I
Casual
love Riddler.
fans? No.
Yeah, I'm an actual fan of Riddler, so like that. But it
That's
didn't
that's
matter
how
to me.
Riddler.
You have
That's
2 hours and 56 minutes to establish a character. If you can't do that in that time frame, are you really even like a good writer?
I mean,
You
they did
had almost
establish him. He was
3
great.
damn hours to establish a character, and you're going to tell me we're going to get stuck with the Joker again for another part 2?
He's
Hey,
not
let's
the
copy the
Joker
Dark
yet.
Knight trilogy.
He's not the Joker yet.
He's not the Joker yet.
He's
So
not the
that's what
Joker
the biggest
yet.
thing. So that so the fact that he's alluded to, because here's the thing is they don't have to use him in the next movie. He's just there. We just know that he's there. He's locked up. We don't know what he's locked up for, how long he's got in there. What we have no idea
Like,
what's
DC,
going
you
on.
better learn from your sins and leave
It's
Joker
like
the
that.
hell alone.
It's not even DC.
Like,
They just better
That was
listen
a
to Matt
bad
Reeves
Joker
right
laugh.
now.
That was a bad interpretation of him. And if you're telling me it took all the way till year 2 and Joker's already locked up, and now you need character development with Batman,
He's not Joker.
It's not Joker
yet.
And
he's not
and
Joker
again,
yet.
freaking, why are you like the laugh? Like Joker's laugh, like are you just used to Matt Hamill? Joker laugh?
That's what it is.
Is that all you know? And so that, like, no, it's much more than that. Like again,
Let's get away from the Jedi. Let's get away from the Jedi laugh.
Is that
and
like,
no,
Joker is gonna have a manic laugh, like however that actor chooses to portray that laugh, fine, whatever. So that you may like it, you may not, something like that. But if he's Joker or he's becoming Joker, and that's gonna be his laugh, so that then that's gonna be his laugh. Cool, run with it. Like, I'm not mad at what they did for Jokers with that, and I feel like they can utilize that going forward in a number of ways. I don't want Joker to be the main focus of the next movie, but I like that they alluded to him. That's what that.
Clayface.
You can give me Clayface. Honestly, I want Scarecrow. I would love.
I want
Scarecrow.
Clayface. I want Clayface.
I'll take Clayface. I'll take anybody that hasn't been done. Like, don't give me Freeze. Don't give me Ivy. So that. And I don't want Bane right now. So that, like, don't give me.
It's too early for Bane. It's too early for Bane.
Give me something. This again, more ground, something that we can play with, so with that, and you can literally have Joker just as he was, and it doesn't hurt the movie at all. Now, depending on what they do with him in the next movie, if they utilize him, or they can have another end scene where, he's being freaking released by because he's been cleared by a doctor that we've seen in the Arkham series named Harleen Quinzel. Like, this is so much of a good setup that they can do whatever they want with it. And he left it intentionally open-ended like this to kind of play with. Like, he's got room to play. Yep. And that's what I love. He thought ahead. There's so much room to play. And there's currently a countdown. If you haven't seen the end credit scene, there's a countdown. Rata Alada on freaking the countdown. And it's literally counting down. It's like 26% or something like that to something. We don't know what. Is a trailer for something else? Is it a deleted scene that, we were supposed to get during the movie so that tells a little bit more? Is it a setup for Penguin? Is it a setup for Arc? Like, it could be anything right now. But he's done his homework well to set this movie apart and everything that's going on with it. Like, agreed. I'm hyped as shit for what he's got coming. And the fact that he specifically said he don't want a Superman in this universe, it's even
418, 48-18, 48-18.
Don't give me a freaking Superman. Give me more Batman and everything involved with Batman. And let's run this trilogy. Like,
let's do it.
I'm for
I don't even you can make 2 trilogies. Make another trilogy after this one, and I'm good.
But like, they got a good actor freaking to play that can play 4-6 movies. Like, you could literally build a freaking dynasty. Like, right now, Tobey Maguire, did his 3, and now he's in a 4th one and stuff like that. Tom Holland did his 3. He's going to another one. So like that, like, you could literally take this Batman, put him in his trilogy and so like that. Write out the story that you got in your head, so with that, and then we can set up a whole nother trilogy with this, or you can even play off of, because they're supposed to do a Gotham Knights like TV show or something like that, right? Like, so it's like you can play off of all of this, and so like that, like, they could literally everything that has been talked about, so like that, they can now revamp it and reroute it towards, okay, let's follow the Batman, and this is our DCEU story that we want to tell from this angle, and this one is the one we want to tell from this angle. So we keep telling the Black Adam, Shazam, all that stuff going this way, and then we tell this Batman story going this way, and just let them run parallel and stuff like that, and we can still enjoy the shit. And that's something that Marvel has done. Like, Marvel's telling one continuous story going through, and it's great. Like I said, it makes sense. You got your offshoots, but they can literally have the 2 timelines running concurrently in the same thing and really capitalize on where they up initially, so that, and really build it to make it something better. because I don't know if y'all got the same trailer I got when I went in to see the Batman. I didn't get this trailer in the first time. I got it the second time, where it showed the Flash, the Aquaman, and all the other movies that are coming out later this year. Like I actually got that trailer, so at that, and it was all the stuff kind of thrown together. So it was like, okay, we got Flashpoint coming, we got multiple Batmans. Like hey, is they gonna make Robert Pattinson's Batman appear in that one and stuff like that as like a last minute addition? There's no schedule for that as far as I know. Like we got stuff. We got freaking stuff. All right. I'm ready for this. So yo, what's next? Like Reeves, tell me what you got, because you are held high in my eyes right now. Like you are on fucking point.
Come on.
Oh, you're killing me. I love it. He got into his rant and I had nothing to do with it.
There's a 13-minute rant out of nowhere that, wow.
The people enjoy it.
You thought it was going to be me.
Now I get to sit down and edit an hour-long video just because Will can't watch his mouth. Fantastic.
Hey,
that's what I love doing my off days.
This is great.
Fantastic.
Better you than me.
Well, since Will broke down every single aspect of that, I don't think there's much else for us to do anything, because he just red stringed a whole thing that we didn't.
I'm good with the red string, baby. I'm good with it.
Okay.
Check out our other content.